Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Coach Raheen, and I'm going to talk to you about a subject that, if you understand this subject and you grasp the message that I'm trying to send you, it could really change your life. So, the subject that I'm going to talk about is emotional intelligence. And what I want to tell you or share with you about emotional intelligence is that it is so powerful and it's so uh, it takes over so much of what we do, but it can be controlled and it can be manifested and it can be created and it can be directed. And many times when we're going through different aspects of life, we don't realize that we actually can control our emotions. But we don't use the language, we don't have the mindset of someone who understands how to control their emotions. So let's get into it. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is your intellectual understanding of your emotions. In other words, it is your ability to understand your emotions on a level of realizing that, you know what, every single thing in life is tied to our emotions. We have an emotional response to many things that take place in our life. Now, why is it so important to understand that fact? It's important to understand that fact because as you go through your daily interactions with life, when situations are happening, you're going to be responding, and your response is not so much the problem, is the emotions that you bring with it. Now, when I say emotions, I'm not necessarily talking about emotions as in your emotions are bad. I'm talking about emotions as in the emotional response that you're using at the time of an event, something that you don't want, or something that makes you feel uncomfortable or unhappy, or a bad experience. The emotion that you bring with it, is that emotion actually helping you, or is that emotion making the situation worse? So, for example, right, if a situation happens, let's say someone accidentally hits you with their car. You're driving, you're doing everything like you're supposed to, and then someone runs into you, right? Your emotional response at first may be shock, and then it may be anger once you realize that, oh, it's this other person's fault. You start thinking, man, were they paying attention? Why aren't they paying attention? Why they hit me? All of this stuff, right? But what I want to urge you to consider is, are those emotions that are carrying past the point in which you had the accident helpful to you? In other words, the accident, it happened, it's done. Now that the accident is done, does it help you to carry that emotion beyond? Now, if you're like most of us, you're probably thinking, well, emotions are hard to control. They just happen. You feel a certain kind of way. These are your feelings, right? And that's true. But here's what I want to help you realize so that you can gain control over your emotions. Your emotions are tied to your default thinking. And your default thinking is tied to the way that you were reared, what you learned at a very young age, what you believe to be true about life and situations in life. I'm saying these things to you because I want you to get in front of your emotion. Your default thinking is what's causing the emotion to take place. So most people don't view car accidents as something positive. They view it as something negative. So their emotional response, their default thinking to it is negative. The negative default thinking carries with it negative emotions. Now, I'm going to challenge you, right? The challenge is, when something negative happens, how about, instead of your default thinking being negative to something that happens that you don't want to have happen? How about your default thinking being positive? Now, what's the advantage of your default thinking being positive? If your default thoughts are positive, it will allow you to come up with positive solutions. Default